Thank you, Eric. Not this Eric. Yeah, no, he said he understands that he don't speak it. I thought so. This nigga was listening to Lil Wayne in his truck and shit, you know. So I was like, yeah, he probably don't speak Spanish.
He was urban?
He's very urban.
You know, when I lived in L.A., it was always wild to see Latin people who didn't speak either Spanish. It was always wild to see that because I grew up in New York learning how to speak Spanish.
Well, even where I grew up in Northern California and shit in the Bay, man, they all of them kids spoke Spanish.
Yeah.
Their parents are serious about that shit because you're not gonna lose your language just because we here.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
That's important.
Yo, welcome.
So Eric, you failed. My bad.
Welcome to another episode of Change Your Mind, Change Your Thinking, CMCT. I am your host, Troy Skinner. On my right side, the man with the plan, the only one that could be there in that chair is...
No cocaine tonight, or ever, actually. Just so we don't get... You know, no hairs crossed and no misunderstanding, but Antonio Dean, how's everybody doing?
Yes, sir. My co-host, Antonio Dean. Yes, guys, so we are interested in making sure that tonight will be a great show for you. Thank you for everybody who is tuning in. If you're tuning in from wherever you're tuning in at, whatever part of the world, and or out of the 50 states in the United States, we appreciate you being with us tonight.
Yeah, but if you're on Instagram, though, it'd be nice if y'all helped us move over to YouTube. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just keep saying that and plugging it. Because at some point, you're not going to have a choice.
Yeah.
But we do enjoy having you.
Yeah.
We want y'all to help us make some actual money because Instagram ain't going to pay us for these damn lives. All right? But thank you all for joining.
Yeah. And shout out to everybody who's listening to us, even if you're out there shopping, running errands, doing what you got to do in order to get ready for the holiday. We plan on being here for you guys so that way you have something to listen to while you're dealing with the mundane activities of holidays, Christmas, and all that good stuff.
All of that shit.
Yeah.
I don't do holidays.
So big shout out to my boy Antonio. I'm loving this right here. This man, he comes with the heat every Tuesday and Thursday, man. If it's not a dope hat,
I've had this 6-7 years now.
Yeah. Wouldn't be able to tell.
I appreciate that.
Plaid doesn't go out of style though, bro.
No. Well, no, I bought hella of these because I liked them.
Yeah.
Costco.
And
they had them on, Costco had them on sale. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. So, guys, we are streaming to you guys tonight. We're really big on the topic that we're going to be talking about, which is basically the woes of black men, like the stuff that we go through with relationships and or stress and depression, all the different things that we endure as a people in this world, man. Black men in particular. Like I know some of our listeners, you know, we have a strong female fan base and a strong fan base of people who listen to us that hopefully what we're saying on Tuesdays and Thursdays are helping you guys out in your daily routine of life.
Yes, sir.
This week has been somewhat of a dark week, especially going on in the news. We had a really good show on Tuesday. We talked about sex.
Yes.
And we got a lot of feedback on that it was a great show and that people are looking to hopefully do a follow-up with us, which we will be doing down the road.
We got a lot of follow-ups we need to do.
Yeah, a lot of follow-ups.
I'm sending you the question right now.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I got it.
Topic.
Let's see.
You said the black man's woes?
Black man's woes. Yeah, we got some woes. Not woe in the excited sense. Woes in the suffrage type of mindset. That type
suffrage
of
is a very strong word.
It is, brother.
It's going to be a good night.
It's going to be a great night. So as you guys are tuning in, you know, this week, like I said, it was somewhat of a dark week, especially in the world of entertainment. On Tuesdays, you know, we have our topics in which we speak about specific things. And like I said, on this past Tuesday, we talked about sex, and it was fun. It was great. Tonight is pop culture and what's going on in pop culture, and that's how we kind of tied it in with Black Men's Woes. And we'll be starting the show off, the top of the show, with a kind of a memorial and a dedication to Twitch. If you know who Twitch is, Stephen Boss. Stephen tWitch Boss. He was a dancer. His claim to fame was So You Think You Can Dance back in the early days when the show first started out. He was actually one of my favorite dancers in that show, and I felt like he should have won, but of course, being that talk about black man woes, being that he was a black guy, he got eliminated earlier than he should on that show. But I, as an acting coach, trained a lot of different actors who were dancers, and they knew tWitch personally, so they're dealing with this in a certain way that it's going to be a little bit harder than most people who are just watching from the sidelines in regards to knowing that this brother took his life. So I'm just going to read the article.
You got it, or you want me?
I want to switch over so that way we can make sure our YouTube fans is getting this.
Damn, there we go.
There we go.
Switch her out real quick.
Yeah. All right, and
Please give us a moment as we are getting technical, nigga.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh no.
So, I don't know if that shows up like that.
I don't think it does.
Yeah.
You on YouTube, Derrick, or nah? Nigga, please. This is Instagram. I'm on the phone. This is Instagram.
Yeah, I think he was swiping right. I'm not sure.
Well, you know.
We just
Oh no, I was just wondering if this how this shit shows up, but it probably don't show up like that. This thing is going green a lot tonight. Wonder what that's about. Anyway, Stephen Boss, dancer and reality TV star known as tWitch, dies at 40. Mr. Boss spent 9 years with the Ellen DeGeneres Show as DJ, guest host, and eventually an executive producer. That's swell. Good for him. Stephen Boss, a charismatic hip-hop dancer and television personality known as tWitch, who rose to fame on the reality show So You Think You Can Dance before becoming a regular on the Ellen DeGeneres Show, died on Tuesday in a motel room in Los Angeles. He was 40. The death was ruled a suicide by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office. Mr. Boss joined So You Think You Can Dance in 2008 as a 25-year-old with a talent for popping, a dance form associated with hip-hop that involves isolating parts of the body with a staccato rhythm and an ability to make the judges burst into laughter with his facial expressions and theatrics. For those who don't know, I am not a fan of dancing, so I have no idea what a majority of these words
You're doing great.
or cultures are.
You're doing great.
Let's see. He soon found himself dancing unfamiliar styles like the waltz and the tango on national television, and he finished the show's 4th season as a runner-up. Later on in the series, Mr. Boss performed a hip-hop duet with Ellen DeGeneres, featuring him as a therapist in a sweater vest and her as his client. That would end up shaping the rest of his career. As a bubbly presence on TV who liked to wear a fedora and often broke into dance, Mr. Boss spent nearly a decade with the Ellen DeGeneres Show as DJ guest host and eventually an executive producer. They repeat a lot in this article. I count on him to look over at and make silly jokes, Mr. DeGeneres said in an episode this year, the show's last. He's my pal. He's my sidekick. In a statement on Wednesday, Ms. DeGeneres said she was heartbroken over the death, calling Mr. Boss pure love and light. Stephen Laurel Boss was born on September 29, 1982 in Montgomery, Alabama, to Connie Boss Alexander and Sanford Rose. He started dancing as a teenager and earned the nickname tWitch because he could not stop moving in school or in church. Dance constitutes a lot of the conversation that I have, Mr. Boss told the website Collider in 2014. While I'm not a ridiculous wordsmith and I can't clearly verbalize the things that I'm feeling sometimes, I'd say that I can't emote how I feel by dancing, 100% of the time and fearlessly at that. By the time Mr. Boss made it on the So You Think You Can Dance, he had already competed on Star Search and the MTV show The Wade Robson Project, in addition to more traditional dance training at Chapman University in Orange, California. Makes sense. If he had not been chosen for So You Think You Can Dance, he said in interviews he planned to join the Navy, but the show embraced him, and for years he would return to dance with new contestants and served as a judge. Mr. Boss's marriage also had its origins on the reality show. After dancing with Allison Holker, a contemporary dancer who had performed on season 2 at a party at the end of a later season, they became inseparable. We danced, and we were together like holding hands the very next day and never looked back, Miss Holker Boss told People magazine this year. Dance was often at the center of their relationship. Mr. Boss proposed while the couple were filming choreography for a Microsoft commercial, and the dance later posted online turned into a romantic duet. They married in 2013 and built a significant social media following, hosting a reality TV show and posting both dance videos and peeks into their life raising a family. Steven lit up every room he stepped into, Ms. Holker-Ball said in a statement. He valued family, friends, and community above all else, and leading with love and light was everything to him. In addition to his wife and his parents, Mr. Boss is survived by a son, Maddox, a daughter, Zaya, a stepdaughter, Wesley, a brother, DeAndre Rose, a grandfather, Eddie Ross, and two grandmothers, Elnora Rose and Marie Boss. After finding fame as a dancer, Mr. Boss explored an acting career. He appeared in films in the Step Up franchise and in the second Magic Mike movie. In his role as Miss DeGeneres' sidekick, he had his body hair waxed on her show in preparation for Magic Mike XXL. With Miss DeGeneres' show ending this year after 19 seasons, Mr. Boss called his return to So You Think You Can Dance as a judge a full circle moment in an interview on The Today Show. He then put his talk show charm on display as he gave the host dance lessons in salsa, popping and locking, and the robot. What an interesting way to end this article.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, because every time it got to that part of Ellen DeGeneres' sidekick, you kind of like paused.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Big shout out to Claudia Thaddeus and Anthony.
That was racist, Eric.
Jonathan, what's going on? Jonathan Dominique. Hanselman, what's up, guys? Thanks for coming on in. If you tuned in just now, you probably missed us doing a little bit of reading. Antonio was reading the article based on Stephen tWitch Boss.
That was a lot of bit of reading.
It was. You did a great job, man. But yeah, it was, you know, to her sidekick. He had a presence he had
they lessened his existence by saying that he was her sidekick.
Her sidekick. You know,
and that's how they ended the article.
Right. They wanted to remind you he's a black man. So,
this nigga.
Yeah, he's just a sidekick. But he had his own personality and he had his own independent. You know, she became hot by dancing with him on So You Think You Can Dance. I remember that.
Correct.
You know, so when you see stuff like that, it's par for the course. But at the same
rhetoric
time,
and language are very important, and don't ever ignore it. Because if it makes you
uneasy.
do that, it's probably true.
Yeah, absolutely. So reading that, I know you didn't know a lot about him, but
no, I don't follow dance at all.
Yeah, well,
I see people are affected by it.
You know, I'm deafed out. Like I've been, you know, I had a lot going on in the past month. So when that happened, it was just like, okay, you know, like wow. He took his own life for what the reports say. The autopsy came out today and confirmed that he did take his own life. But you know, people are going to have their theories, and they're going to have their thoughts in regards to certain things.
Correct.
To this day, people still believe that Bruce Lee was killed. You know, so
I do.
Yeah, I do too. But you know, does what we believe matter in the end? You know, I want to say rest in peace to you.
Yeah, rest in peace to that brother.
Twitch, and it's just a horrible thing. With that being said, this will lead us into part of what we're talking about with Black Man's Woes today. When a man kills himself, specifically a black man or a brother, you know, what do you think brings some of them to that? And mine is because a lot of times there are people who are clinically ill, right? That's one thing. Someone's clinically ill, clinically depressed, and they go to the extreme of taking their own life. But when you have people who, I mean, this guy seemed presumably happy. Like, you know, from what everyone had saw, he literally on his Instagram had just posted that he was spending his anniversary with his wife, 9th year anniversary, I think. And he had posted another dance. Him and his wife would do these dances every day. And you could see photos of him and everything. He never looked like that there was anything wrong. What do you think brings some of these brothers to doing that as the end all to all?
To letting themselves go? Because I'm assuming that the S word is definitely flagged. What do I know brings people to this point? The burden of upkeep so many different images and responsibilities as a black man. Because we are speaking about black people.
Yeah. We're and guys, listen, all of you guys who are listening, of course, you can relate in some capacity. But, you know, change your mind, change your thinking is always a thing of our perspective in regards to the perspective of black men on the black community. So being that you don't hear too many platforms speak on black men and their issues.
Not at all.
Tonight, it's going to be primarily about black men in the news since we're talking about pop culture. Boy, that footage looks really good right now.
It does. Yeah. I was looking at that too.
Your music video looked really good too, man.
Thank you.
You got eyes from the chicks. You know how they put the eyes. That was like
thank you, ladies. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, nah. So again, like I said, this the burden of upkeep of so many different responsibilities, emotional and social responsibilities, professional responsibilities, financial responsibilities. It's a lot. Waking up and being a black man, something as simple as, you know, my first time getting out into the real world after I left and went to the military, man. I had the hardest time just because they didn't like my eyebrows.
Wow.
My chief, the E9, said if you can't figure out how to smile a little bit when you're walking around this building, there's gonna be no place for you in my military.
Oh no. What's going on, Ramey?
No place for you in my military. Because I have a resting bitch face, I've heard. Or an angry, scary face, I have heard.
Permanent scowl.
Yeah. So, but there's no place for you professionally here. Even though I'm doing a great job, my work ethic, the end product, the end results of all of my work have never been up for debate or question. And that was my burden, my plight in the military. I seen Chapman walking down. You know, I said good morning to him, and he said good morning, but I didn't hear him. He didn't say it loud enough, or you know, just all kind of shit like that, man. Just there's so many different things that come along with just being what we are, who we are. You know, especially I was bodybuilding at the time, so a lot of people in my
your posture's up, chest is
well,
out,
even just being in the military, your posture's a little different. But when I'm bodybuilding and I'm 230 something pounds, man, walking through them hallways and just because of what they see, you know.
Do you think that because of who we are and because we're taught this, whether you have a father in the house or not, you're taught to groom yourself correctly, to dress correctly, to not share your problems. You have to present well. Yeah, you know, you don't
actually
have time.
Not that you have to present well, you have to present
exceptional,
as close to perfection as possible.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I remember Denzel had said to his son, when his son was considering being an actor, he told him, you have to work double hard.
Yeah.
That's what he told his
son. And not
son.
because he's in his shadow, but because everybody's they're really after you.
Yeah, yeah. You know? And they have a high expectation of black men being alchemists, being able to turn gold from lead to gold. Because we're capable of doing it in some capacity. We're able
and it always looks easy when we do it.
Yeah, that's an issue. Because it's not. It's not. I mean, you look at a lot of the grants and a lot of the financial backing that's out nowadays. Women, black women in particular, are getting all the grants. They're getting everything. You know, Spike Lee, he came out being a filmmaker. He used his own credit cards and his own money. He didn't have anyone, give him an extension of finance. And so we live in a different time. I think to piggyback off of something you said about the pressure and the amount of responsibility, on one hand we do have a lot of that, but now with this newer generation, their sense of depression is something totally different. I mean, obviously I'm a little older, so in my generation it was being able to pay the bills and taking care of your family and taking care of your responsibilities. But these young cats nowadays, they don't have that same stuff going on unless they enter into adulthood and fatherhood at an early age and they have a child. And so now they got to work a couple of jobs to pay for the kids. And, back in the day, it was like you got married, you finished. There was a protocol: high school, college, marriage.
Well, I think even today, a part of that is just what they see. We don't see, not even just black men. We don't see men working construction, doing different types of manual labor, especially not in television shows and things like that. Everybody's chasing the internet dream these days. So with these young men not seeing men do what prehistorically has always been a man's job, a man's position, which is building the world and taking care of the women and the children in it. They don't see that. Where would they see that today? Effectively.
And then there's also the thing that black men or men in general don't really have forms in which they can speak.
Correct.
You and I talked about this before the show started, where it's like people are always like, well, you can vent with me, talk to me, pick up the phone if you need to talk. But it does no good speaking to people who don't understand what that struggle is. It's one of the things of realizing that most people are not on the same level as you if they don't have the same responsibilities as you. So how can you vent and how can you speak on something to someone that they will probably never even understand? I think that's a major thing. So we'll use Twitch as an example. Whatever the stress could have been, whether it was financial, whether he was living a life he really didn't want to live. A lot of people get to a point in their, the midlife. They used to call it midlife crisis. I don't think they call that anymore. They used to call it like around 40, 45 was a midlife crisis, where the movie American Beauty was based on that, where you had Kevin Spacey. He was this guy. He just basically was dealing with a spouse she was screwing
negligent.
Yeah, she was screwing her business partner, and he just wanted to stay home, smoke weed, lift weights, and work on his car. And he ended up quitting his job and he started working at a fast food restaurant. But the movie starts off with him jacking off in the shower saying, "This is the highlight of my day," because he hated his life that much.
Yeah.
Because of the choices that we make, right? And no one can listen. The choices you make are the choices that you make. No one can take responsibility for the choices you make.
Well, so a part of that goes into what I was sitting here thinking as we were discussing what it is that men traditionally have committed to, and when you commit, leading into the midlife crisis, that is, and why I believe it's a midlife crisis, and they get a Corvette and start wearing the cool hats and trying to listen to young music and all of that bullshit is what the midlife crisis has always been described as. But where does it come from? I think it comes from at one point in time, men spent 20, 30, 40 years supporting a family, and what you said about him, he may have been working a job that he no longer even wanted to work. That may have never been in his idea of his career trajectory, but he ended up doing it because it made good money for him to do whatever he was doing with his family or supporting friends or whoever and whatever it was that he was supporting. I think that we get lost in the right path, so to speak. You can get lost in that and losing yourself in that, not ever actually getting to do any of the things that you wanted to do. And that's why they go buy a Corvette, because they spent all those years, my kids need XYZ, my wife needs this, my family needs this. I gotta make sure the job is good, because men typically take pride in their work. You're putting everything about yourself aside for everything else that you care about. And I think that's where the midlife crisis comes from.
Do you think it's important that men, women have this mantra nowadays where you just saw Tia Mowry, I think, where she feels like she's happier now because she's not married.
Yeah.
Do you think that people are forcing onto themselves something that they may want down the road, but it's too soon? Because he got married very soon, right? He got married, pretty much at the peak of his career, in a sense. this guy tWitch.
5 years or so, he was 30.
Yeah. So, that's still young. I
That
mean,
is young.
Do you think,
Did you marry a white bitch or was it?
She was white, yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But
I mean, listen, the thing is everyone has. I think where men get in trouble because I'm very big on accountability, and I whenever I speak with people in private or just about certain things in public, there's always this thing of shaping your life into being what you feel it can be. And a lot of times people don't realize the realistic aspect of what's going on is that you can only handle what's given to you. The choices you make are where you make your biggest mistakes. Because if you're choosing to do something that you may not be ready to do, but you're feeling like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, right? You're the one that's responsible for that. No one else is forcing you to do these things. No one's forcing you to be married. No one's forcing you to have children. No one's forcing you to be settled. These are things that you can always make an adjustment with. The problem starts to be, okay, now there's a pressure to uphold that, right? Yeah. If you're not equipped. Because I know I wasn't equipped to be good in business. Like I could look back now and say, okay, there's no way who I was as a kid coming out of the projects where I didn't even know how to balance a checkbook. They didn't teach that in school around my time. That was something that they stopped teaching. So you come out the projects, you don't have an understanding of the value of money. You don't understand how to make it correctly. You don't understand what to do with it. You waste money.
You haven't even experienced structure yet.
Don't even know what that is. And then you're rushing to get into a relationship because you feel like there's this little time clock in which you got to get married. You got to have kids. You got to build. You know what I'm saying? Which is true. You want to build, but are those things necessary for you to build for the life that you want? So we're looking, my point I'm making is because you look at tWitch, you look at his Instagram was very involved with him and his family, right? But when he started his journey, it wasn't anyone else but him. Later on, it became everyone else. We already know what social media does to people. It hides the truth and shows what we want them to see.
Correct.
Very few people. I mean, there are people in there that's very, very transparent, very open. I'm very, very communicable through social media. I posted something about dealing with people taking their life and not having no one to talk to. And I was like, if you reach out, no one knows what you're going through unless you speak about it to someone for help. And if you ask them for help and they don't help, fuck them anyway and keep fighting. Because that's my logic. Because everyone's not going to understand. Listen. Kingdoms, the king was the king. Everyone else had a different position, but they weren't the king or the queen. Right. And they could only advise from what position that they were in. They couldn't sit on the throne. Even the hand of the king sometimes wasn't in that position to know everything that the king had known. So a lot of times this is a different type of pressure that people will never be able to understand. My point in what I'm saying is, do you think people are taking the wrong steps in their life and then they're regretting it, which is what's kind of causing that midlife crisis?
I don't believe that. I believe that we've lost focus, just as humans in general. We have very few things as humans in reference to the modern world that connect us to our primal selves, right? And I'm sure there will be tons of detractors who disagree, but there's something that men and women are supposed to do on this planet together. There are roles, there are goals, there's some sense of primal or primally mandated purpose that we have, which is to continue the human race. Mm-hmm. And the perfect analogy that I believe I've ever heard, or most perfect analogy I've ever heard of, concerning life forms on this planet, you plant an apple seed, an apple tree grows. Mm-hmm. Who told the apple tree to do that? What told the apple tree to do that? You don't plant a peach tree and end up getting oranges or getting pears and grapes and all of this kind of shit. You plant a peach seed, a peach tree grows.
Because it's a natural order.
There's a fucking natural order. And I talk about this on the show all the time. The arrogance of humans. The arrogance of humans. To think that we can redefine nature. We can redefine what it is that we primarily are. You know, having all of this kind of, you know, material shit, and we sitting here on live and doing all of this. All of that is cool, but at the end of the day, what is law? Human law. Not the bullshit government and all of that. What is human law? What is our natural order? I need to go protect a woman. I need to go raise a child. I need to provide for them and make sure that they're okay. That's going to help me sleep well at night. And in turn, they show me appreciation for that.
Right.
My kid takes the knowledge that I give them and they put it to good use. They perfect it. Right? That's what it's supposed to be.
Right. Reciprocation. That's a form of reciprocation.
What the fuck are humans doing today?
Yeah, and
I think that is the disturbance.
Well, yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and I think that's what brought us to this point.
So no, I don't think that the people are making, you know, the wrong career choices and all of that bullshit is filibuster. It's fucking
conjecture.
You know, all of that is just whatever, because none of that shit matters at the end of the day. When you're interacting with the humans that you care most about, are you in your natural order? That's what I'm getting at.
Which should be at a position of that should be enough. But when people become unhappy, you know, I always said, and we talked about this on our show about depression, unmet expectation breeds depression.
Right.
The fact that you're not meeting the expectations that you are having in your mind or you're seeing outside of yourself, now you're going to be depressed because you're not meeting those things. Be well, be safe.
Should I lock the door?
I probably should.
I got it.
Yeah, okay. With that being said, if we understand that this is an issue.
I'll be right back.
Yeah,
guys.
sure, yeah. How do we take time to shout out? What's going on, Smoke? How you doing, Isley? Vera, how you doing? Purin, what's going on? So true. Today's humans are so focused on themselves and their material desires. Yeah, but you know, when did it become that? And is it because of? Can we blame that, Purin, on media? Can we blame that on just society getting to a space now where it is about self so much that doing for others and accumulating things to where you have the responsibility to take care of certain things is not rewarding enough, and it's just not enough, period. When we look at what's happening as far as the level of pressure that's put on the average person to look good, smell good, feel good, be good, to be your best self, to accomplish your highest level, all these different self-help books that actually, in my opinion, put more pressure on people than alleviate the pressure from people. Because you're working hard to meet all of those, like I said, expectations that are laid down by the books and or the gurus and or people in your life. Nobody can be stretched that much. The amount of pressure that's put on that person is horrendous because, like Antonio said, you're not meeting the natural order of things. So you're not, there's never a point where you're content because there's always more. Because you're going beyond what is just the basic natural order of things. So you're always wanting the best car, you're wanting the best trip, you're wanting the Balenciaga, you know, you're wanting the best, the red bottom shoes, the Manolas, all of that stuff that has nothing to do with anything. But then you're looking at Instagram and you're seeing people wear these things and doing these things, and it seems like they're happy, and then that's what you're working towards to obtain. So as black men, because of what's going on in media, right? We see what's happening in media. You have the Tates, you have, the different people, the Kevin Samuels, who's no longer with us, that,
Right.
Was teaching about what it is to be a man, but at the same time saying that you can have all these things. Is that a conflict? Is that something that confuses people? Because here you're saying the natural order, which I agree, should be enough. It should be, okay, this is what I want. If you really want it, if you say, and this is something that I tell people all the time, if that's what you really want, because you can't say, all right, I want to have the house, the wife, the kids, the car, the job, the vacation, the things that is normal for a family, and then say, well, but I want to go off and be the biggest hip hop artist on the planet.
Yeah.
And think that you could be like Jay-Z, because Jay-Z,
there's no middle ground.
No, there isn't. And not understand what comes with that, because that is a different form of pressure. So, I mean, look, you're looking at someone who at 40 years old took his own life, as it says, who was at the height of his career. We don't know if there were money issues, because a lot of times, sometimes when people take their lives, it's money issues, or there's things that
he
are
was
unspoken.
in a motel.
Right.
Right.
Financially
speaking.
Yeah. We never know what the full story is unless there's a note left or unless the truth comes out. But to leave children behind,
that says a lot.
It's huge. Because the pain that's embarked upon them, and like I said, it's one thing if it's a mental disorder or something that causes that, but he was a fully functional person.
As far as we know, we don't know his intimate life.
Yeah, right, true.
We don't know the specifics of his intimate life. There's no telling.
Yeah, to get to that point, let's offer our viewers, some perspective. If someone right now, you're listening and you're going through this type of situation, what's going on, Steve Call? I can say personally that I've been close to wanting to do something that drastic, but because of my spiritual and personal religious beliefs, it would never happen, no matter how deep or dark things got. That's the thing that keeps me from that position. I can't speak for anyone else, but what can we embark and leave with people to help them understand that other than leaving, a hotline, which is kind of what we do to everybody that, speaks on this. What can we, what I'm saying?
I'll say this, because I think that this is one of those things that kind of plays into human arrogance. In the military, they've got, and not just the military, I'm sure they do this at regular jobs and all of that shit, but they have a suicide prevention,
hotline.
And then not even that, but like a whole team of sorts. Where in life, even in prison, you can't stop adults from doing what it is that they want to do.
That's true.
Okay? There is no actual telltale sign.
Yeah, I know for a fact. Because
there is no actual indicator that says it, anything. If that's what somebody's going to do, that's what they're going to do. Now, I think it's even arrogance for me to assume that I could say the right thing right now.
But it's not even
That'll help.
Yeah, it's not even the right thing, just something.
I will say this. I think that it's very normal. Very normal to what is the word? To consider. It's very normal to consider suicide. We're human. We have existential thoughts of all sorts. We consider murder,
Yeah, that's it.
We consider theft, bodily harm on others. We consider violence in general, whether that be on self or others.
Consistently.
It's not abnormal. I don't even think it's abnormal for a human to take their own life. What is it that I don't even, we don't have the chance to talk to a person who's taken their own life and see where it is that they were mentally, spiritually. We don't get the words directly from their mouths, so in my own personal opinion, there is nothing that we can say, and I think it's very arrogant of humans to think that there is something that they can do, just like I think it's very arrogant that we have machines that keep vegetables alive. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
That's my stance on that.
Yeah. I've been in a situation where I've, I guess, I don't know if it was me or if it was just a situation to, quote unquote, talk someone from the edge. Yeah. And sometimes it's just a presence thing. I've had both situations happen. The one that I can say that was, I guess, successful in a way was someone who told me what was happening at that moment. And I, of course, dropped everything, went over there, and they're sitting there with the piece in their hand. And it's like, okay, what do you do? I don't think anyone has the right answer for any of that. But I was, like I said, able to talk that person off the ledge. And
well, this is the thing. In reality, do you think that you talked them off?
No,
or was that something that they just weren't going to do anyway?
Well, I mean, I don't know, first off. And I would never want to be presumptuous to think that I did what was necessary to make them stop.
That's a hell of a power to have.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
Some people think, and that's kind of why we're talking about it, because I think if there's clarity, then I think also we can alleviate some of the guilt that people have because I'll give you the other end of the spectrum. I had someone who was, hey, I want to give you this key to my apartment, a neighbor. I want to give you this key to my apartment because just in case something happens to me. Okay,
What does that mean?
Right? Yeah, and then they went through moments of everything was okay, dating someone new, finding God, going to church, and then maybe a year later, I get the message from the maintenance man. Oh yeah, the guy across the hall killed himself. Like, what? So that's why he had gave me that key a year ago. Had no clue. Didn't see the signs.
That may not be why.
I don't know.
Do they know that he actually killed himself? Was somebody after him?
Well, yeah. Well, no. I mean,
who was that motherfucker hooked up with?
Yeah, no. Judging from the landlord, he definitely. But my point in saying is that I didn't harbor any guilt.
Yeah, no.
And I want people to know that when based off of kind of what you said about if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. But some of them are not going to do it, but they just maybe want the attention of someone to say, hey, don't do it. Because that's another thing that happens. Sometimes people don't want to do it, and they just need a person to say, don't do it. And then they don't do it.
Correct.
It's jacked up. Because
that's what I said. There's so many variables. I'm not being dismissive about, about suicide at all, but I am saying that it'd be arrogant for me to assume or think that I could poise myself or poise a specific sequence of words that could somehow, this person was gonna do it, and I figured out the code.
Yeah, no, yeah.
The human. I'm a not victim. I'm a traumatic brain injury patient, and I'll tell you right now, they don't know shit about the human mind. I have not been able to get any valuable help the last 8 years concerning my brain injury. Because they don't know enough about the human brain. They don't know enough about our mind.
Very complex.
We know enough about psychology to get people to buy things and tricky marketing and all of these different things, even hypnotism. But the far depths and complexities of the human mind, the things that'll drive us to do things that society would label as treacherous or unreasonable. What is reason? They know all of these other things about the brain, but they can't figure out how to stop someone from doing X, Y, Z. Typically can't figure out why it is. Like you know, to get why it is that someone's doing something like being, you know, serial murder.
Mm-hmm.
If I understand that there's no control, no power over that, then I should also understand that I should have no guilt if someone has decided that this is what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
I have no guilt about drug addicts,
Mm-hmm.
no
Mm-hmm.
guilt about alcoholics
Mm-hmm.
who are doing whatever it is that they're doing to their life, however you label it.
Mm-hmm.
What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
If there's nothing that I could say to fix it, I have no reason to be guilty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very true. That's very true.
You give a drug addict $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, you know, you 9 times out of 10, we know where that million is going, and it's probably not going to be rehab.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. As black men, I mean, I know there's listen, I'm not a person who has anything against social media. I actually I'm grateful for social media in some capacity, because
It's connected humans in a completely different way.
But you know, because of who I am, I'm quick to dismiss a lot of the flash and dash, because that's stuff that I don't care for anyway.
Likewise.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't affect me. Like I'm not working to keep up with the Joneses. I'm not like, oh, they got that, I need to get that. And maybe seeing people in vacation spots, it's like, man,
damn, that would be dope. Yeah. I would also like to experience that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, because that's how we found out about how you doing, Sage? And Sage, I would love, oh my God, Sage, I would love to tell your story. I don't know if you're listening. Hey, brother, but I was thinking about your story and what you shared with me a week ago, actually. It was on my mind. You know, so, man, I would love for you either to call in, to chime in right now, or just to give me permission to just tell a little bit of what you told me about your story. But it's very powerful. And I think this was, actually, a week ago, literally. And it's such a powerful story that it kind of piggybacks on kind of what he and I were just talking about, on the different things that perfect. He's coming in. Guys, dope. This is going to be awesome. This brother here is one of the most powerful brothers I know. He's an artist. Mm-hmm. He is just a powerful person, man. And how you doing, Juice? Sage, bro, listen, your timing is impeccable, man. It is impeccable. This brother is also he started his own show about conversing with people over dinner and meals, and he had me on as a guest in Los Angeles. I don't know how life is for you right now, man, but I'm wishing everything is well. You're here, which is powerful in itself. Your story and your testimony is, man, their timing is impeccable, because we were just talking about, you know, and I don't ever divulge people's stories without, you know what I mean, their permission, or you could tell it best.
You know what, brother? You know, I am, as you know, very, very, very transparent. Good evening. How are you, brothers? It's so good to see you.
What's going on?
Thank you for letting me know.
This is Antonio. This is Sage Gallion, man. This brother here, man, he's a very powerful being. But go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
You know, I try to be as transparent with my story as possible. And please, if you need to share, if you feel, you know, the movement to share my movement, my frequency, have at it. You know, I'm an artist. Life is amazing. I'm literally just getting out of the shower, got home. I'm in New York. I've been here for a year now, man. I miss you, brother, and I'm so happy to see you. You know, I'm following you, and I'm so grateful and inspired by you, watching you. You know, your light and your shine. And I think, like I said, you know, being transparent with my life, much as you are with yours, lends itself to being an inspiration for others. Coming from homeless, drug addiction, picking out of garbage cans to eat, to multiple attempts of suicide, which I find fascinating in this current news cycle. We lost another brother to suicide. God rest his soul and God bless his family. But what I try to do as an artist is use the experiences I've been gifted,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very purposeful with that word gifted, because sometimes we look at our pain as a burden and not realize that from that pain can grow something very special, something that doesn't just help me personally but helps others. So yeah, man, it's like knowing where we are is also knowing that we don't have to stay there.
Mm.
Knowing where we are means being aware of our current circumstances, but those are not permanent circumstances. And being a crackhead on the streets, homeless, sleeping in Penn Station, picking out of garbage cans to eat, to building a life that I can say with genuine sincerity, I'm proud of.
Mm.
Not to say there are not struggles, not to say there are not dips, not to say there are not, hard times. There will always be. Whether, Beyonce and Jay-Z, I'm sure have hard times too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's about knowing that this is a lesson. So yeah, man, I'm very open with my life. That's why I share. That's why I give it.
Yeah. Yeah.
My life does not belong to me exclusively. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good to see you, bro.
Thank you. Thank you. We got to keep it short because we're moving into the next hour. But I just wanted to take a piece. You brought me to tears when you told me about the Kiss from a Rose scenario of Can you talk a little bit about that? Just a little bit about that.
Early 90s, strung out like in a bad way. A suicidal moment where I've been up for 7 days straight smoking crack, and I was homeless on 8th Avenue in New York, and I was standing on 36th and 8th. It was the whisper of the morning in New York, and there was this Mack truck barreling down the street, and I all I could do was look at it and say, I won't feel a thing. And as I'm inching closer to the street, preparing myself to jump in front of this truck, one of the iron gates rises behind me from one of the storefronts, and they're playing the radio, and I hear this melody, then I hear these words, and I hear this voice. And the power of art, the power of music, the power of art. I hear the lyrics, and by the time the song is over, I'm sobbing, like literally snot sobbing on the street. The truck had long passed, and I didn't end my life that moment. And when I moved to Los Angeles, I was introduced to Seal, and I got to talk to him and tell him that story, how he saved my life. Again, when we follow our dreams, when we follow our hearts and our passion in our art, we don't know whose lives we're affecting. And I was able to express this story to this man. I was like, yo, you saved my life. And I'm so grateful that Mother Divine gave me that moment of pause. That, I was given a gift of song, something that reached inside of me in all of my pain and despair, and pulled me away from that street.
Claudia, the song was "A Kiss from a Rose" by Seal. "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal. And he told me this story, and I mean, he's talking about I'm still, to this day, I get goosebumps and my eyes well up because I can literally visualize it. And I wasn't there, obviously, but I can visualize because there's so many definitive things that you're saying that happened, and I can visualize it. I can visualize the song playing. I can visualize the gate going up in the bodega. I can visualize you on the corner. I can visualize the truck, and it's so powerful that was that moment. And it kind of your timing is so divine because it piggybacks off of what we were talking
100%.
about. That there's nothing anybody can do. It's going to be that moment. It is that moment. It's within. And I and I think what topped it off for me when we had our interview, what really got me was that this man who's so awesome and amazing to me, a strong, powerful, black, artistic man, would not be here right now if that song in that divine moment didn't play.
Exactly. And that's not lost on me, baby. This really isn't lost on me. And again, as an artist, the understanding, like I said, we don't know whose lives we touch, how the impact of our existence, the impossibility of us being here. We're brought here. We choose to be here for a reason, with promise and with purpose. So yeah. I can say I'm humbled and I'm grateful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for chiming in, and we'll see each other again soon, one day. I know that.
Hopefully very soon, man. I miss you, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Great work, man. God bless.
God bless you.
You have a good night.
Awesome.
You done got quick with it, huh?
Well, I figured it out. Thank you once again, Sage. Claudia, hopefully you heard what I said. The song was A Kiss from a Rose. And when he told me that story, I was in tears, obviously. And I'm like, okay, so now you want to interview me after telling me this. That night I went and just played that song on repeat. It's one of the most beautiful songs, in my opinion, ever created. And it makes sense. At that time, he didn't have anyone. It was the song, and he attributed it to Seal. And I'm pretty sure Seal was like, okay, he probably heard that from other people. It's like, all right, but that's how we're all interconnected. And, just to hear, to me, a black
inspired
man,
by one another. Bro,
come on, man. Come on. That right there was divine timing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because, he's talking, anyway. Listen, we're going to end off this segment. This is the first hour. We're going to end off this segment with, if you're going through those types of thoughts, I'm not going to mention the word, but if you're going through those types of thoughts of ending yourself or whatever, definitely you want to seek therapy. You want to seek help. Yeah. You want to reach out. Like I said, I'll reiterate what I said. If you don't tell anybody that you're going through something and you don't seek for help, how can anybody help you? But if you go out and you seek for help and people don't help you, fuck them. Keep going anyway. Keep fighting. I'm a firm believer of that because I've been fortunate. The people that I've had in my life recently have been very helpful, and to a point to where I'm just like, okay, there's a point where you have to stop leaning and you have to start fighting, right? You have to start putting in the work to get things better. And it's not because, for me, I think a lot of people they may feel like they're trapped, and that's the only answer. This man gave a different scenario. He was just in a low place. Yeah. I just wish the best for everybody. I know it's a dark time. I know a lot of people are, I have 2 people who lost their friends through suicide, other than this situation, and celebrity friends of mine and industry people that I know. And they're burying their friends, man. And, it's just sad to see that happening. So, yeah, guys, we can't really talk too much about that at this point. It's time to move on. We're at the top of our first hour. We're going to give you some show information.
Well, if we must.
We must to bring the energy up, because now we're going to talk about craziness in the black community with black men. So there we go.
Before I go to the bathroom, which I said I wasn't going to do, I do that every show. Since mentioning going to the bathroom is something that's
what does it, man.
Nearly intimate.
That's what does it.
The bathroom is a very intimate place. Mentioning it is somewhat intimate. I'm going to go ahead and share some more intimate information with you guys. If you wanted to reach out to us and help get our followers up so we can start doing our Instagram Live from one single page, that single page can be found on Instagram at CMCT_show. Again, that is at CMCT_show. Follow us there so that we can cut down some of the 12 phones that we got in here set up on tripods that make it hard for me to get up and walk to the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Nextly, we're also live on Facebook from my personal page, but we'd like to start doing our lives from the actual CMCT show page. So go ahead, find us there, follow us there. It'll be a lot easier to condense how many different copies we have of this show every Tuesday and Thursday. And that Facebook page is CMCT Show. Nextly, more important than Instagram, more important than Facebook, more important than paying your own bills sometimes, more important than maybe even your own children. I don't know how you feel about it. We have a YouTube page, and we would love nothing more than migrating fully over to YouTube for all of these shows.
What's going on, Michael, son?
And that YouTube page is at CMCT_show. Help us out. Follow us, subscribe, or whatever the hell it's called on YouTube. All of this shit is a lot in the modern world. Follow, subscribe, like, jump, sit down, whatever, spin. You know what I'm saying? We can also be found on Twitter. We got one of those. Is there any shit on Twitter?
No, not right now. We
got to post TikTok links or some shit on there. Or go like some pages that everybody else is liking, which is usually, you know what they doing on Twitter. But our Twitter page is also CMCT_show. Go ahead and follow us. Start getting, I don't know, we're going to have them doing subscriptions or whatever on there. Mm-hmm. Whatever Elon is doing. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to reach out to us via email and send us content, ideas, comments, critiques, reviews, sponsorship opportunities, most importantly, that email is at cmctshow@gmail.com. You can also find us on TikTok because we got a couple videos there. There's some ads on there that we made. You know what I'm saying? That TikTok is at CMCT_show. Most important of all, we got a Linktree, goddammit. And I have a few things to say about Linktree usually, but I'll spare them tonight. I won't use a cuss word, but I'm going to still say the same goddamn thing. If you go to linktree.com, or however the fuck their website is, linktr.ee, whatever, you go there, you scroll all the way to the bottom of their homepage for some fucking reason. I forgot I wasn't going to cuss. Too late. You scroll all the way to the bottom of that damn homepage, because that's where their search box is for some stupid reason. And you type in CMCT_show, you'll find our Linktree page where we have 3 services that we're offering, not to mention a tipping box if you wanted to, you know what I'm saying? Give us a little bit of change for not much strange in return, because we're not prostitutes yet.
No, not at all.
Yep, he agreed that we're not prostitutes yet. So go to linktree.com, scroll down to the bottom to find their stupid search box location, type in CMCT_show, and you'll find 3 different services. The first service is a personal video. That will be approximately 2 minutes long for the price of $20. If you need us to motivate a friend of yours to send you a video with censored nudes. Are we doing that?
News,
yeah, censored news. Censored news, we can do a 2 minutes worth.
No D.
2 minutes worth of any of that on on that video for you. Now, again, that'll be $20. It's just a personal video. Whatever it is that you would like for us to say or address in that video, you'll outline it in the comment box before you send the payment. The next service, a very important service. You can get a venting consultation right now for the low price of $59 an hour. Because that's the holiday price. You know what I'm saying? But after the holidays, though, we're going to have to knuckle up a bit and start charging y'all $100.
But Rose said she heard nudes.
No, we said news. I think we said news.
She's like, yeah.
Venting consultations. $59 an hour. And the reason why it's a venting consultation is pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a psychiatrist. He ain't no psychologist. I'm not a, what else they got? Therapist.
Mm-hmm.
There's another word, but we ain't none of that legally. But we are willing to offer you as much guidance and perspective as possible and wisdom
Mm-hmm.
to help get you through whatever it is that you're dealing with in your personal life, with your family, your friends, even the workplace. We're also more than willing to help you find a solution, most importantly, to help you get over those or get through these rough patches. So that's $59 an hour up until December 31st. That'll be the very last day that it'll be $59 an hour. January 1st, New Year's, after you pop open that champagne or that sparkling cider, whatever you like, it'll be $100 again.
Mm-hmm.
So don't sleep on that. Lastly, pre-recorded interviews at $75 an hour. The interviews will be about 15 to 20 minutes. Just depends on what it is that you'd like to talk about in that interview. And why that's important is because it's pre-recorded. So with it being pre-recorded, we'll be able to offer you some post-production after the interview is complete so that you can shape that interview to be however it is you want to be presented on the internet, to the world, to your fans, even to your family and friends. You know what I'm saying? Make it personal, baby. Lastly, this man has an Instagram. I know, shocking. And that Instagram is at Darkan, the number 2000. That is DARKAN 2000. That's it. No more zeros. He also has a Twitter at DarkanENT. You can find him there at DARKANENT. Lastly, I have an Instagram or two, and that is at _DOSAGE. That's my personal one. You're more than welcome to join me there. It's open to the public. And also, I have a music Instagram, or an Instagram that I use to promote my music, and that is at _MA. I've got some music up on all streaming platforms, so go ahead and look for me there. That is The Dosage. I was supposed to be dropping an album on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve. However, I ran into some complications with a very unprofessional individual.
Unsavory.
You know what I'm saying? So, due to that, maybe it'll be around my birthday, February.
I got a question. What does the MA stand for? Is it
Mania
MA?
Asylum.
Oh, Mania Asylum. Okay. Okay. I just thought it was.
I didn't want to type it out and shit and have this long ass,
no.
you know, long ass handle and shit.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, the MA on the music page is Mania Asylum.
Got you.
Yeah, it's me and Mario.
Got you. Okay.
Or me and Remo, excuse me.
Yes.
So.
Cool. Second hour.
Thanks,
so
guys.
fast.
I'm going to the bathroom.
As he goes to the bathroom, we want to wrap up what we spoke about. Thank you once again, Sage Gallion, for chiming in and coming in.
You're talking about on the
Twitch.
God damn it. There it is. Oh, it keeps going back up to the top of it.
Well, you had some questions, huh?
No, just someone speaking about what it is, you know, that we're dealing with as people and humans, and where we get unhappy and start dealing with the midlife crisis and everything. And her name is Lanisha, and she said, the satisfying demons, the interests and standards of others, rather than satisfying purpose. If you're not satisfying a purpose, what you're doing has no meaning. It's supposed to be a spiritual experience. This life.
Well, yeah. I mean, but you know, to get people to that place, Maria Rose says she's looking forward to your music.
Thank you.
There's
already stuff up there right now.
Yeah.
So if you're interested. However, the Get To It album or Get Back To It, something to that, whatever the name of that album is, or Get At It. That album is all old music from like 10 years ago. I just re-released it. So don't be alarmed.
To your point, basically, yeah, I do mention that a lot in my conversations with people about your purpose. There are 3 different things that people need to focus on. If you're, I'm not even going to say a religious person or a spiritual person, but just an idea of how life can be lived. The difference between God's will, God's plan, and your purpose. So those are 3 different things. God has a specific will on how he wants you to live. He has a plan for you that is not revealed. It's revealed as time is going by. And then you have a purpose. So we all have a purpose, okay? All of us have a purpose. And I think what happens is if people aren't meeting that purpose, then the disillusionment enters into your life because you're wondering why you're here and what you're here to do. And so seek your purpose and then understand God's will and then understand that God has a plan. And the plan is being revealed as time is moving forward. Rest in peace, Twitch. And we're going to move forward. Okay. So this guy, all right, let's get to this. Oh, a lot of you follow this guy who we're about to talk about. And it's mostly my sisters out there. You guys, this guy has well over 1.5 million Instagram followers. He's got a whole bunch of people to follow him on YouTube and on Facebook and stuff like that. But this guy, who is considered to be a guru, G-U-R-U, Derrick Jaxn. And I know some of you know about it, what's been going on with him for the past year and a half, because last year some stuff came out. But we're going to talk about Derrick Jaxn, and there's a reason why. Because this guy made his career and his fortune off of putting black men down and by making black women believe that all the problems in their life are stemming from black men. And he himself was one of the biggest hypocrites. So this Miami.com article basically gives a little run-up of it. Maria Rose said, God's purpose for our life is to serve using the unique gift he gave us. He must increase and we must decrease. I agree, 100%. Yeah.
Who we talking about, a fraud and a double agent?
Yeah, Derrick Jaxn. Okay. Derrick Jaxn. You want to read this or you want to?
Actually, yeah. And I got a great quote by one of Patrice O'Neal's best friends.
Okay.
It was actually a joke, but it's still a quote.
Okay. So Oliver's going to come in here and lead us away on this. Derrick Jaxn is the subject right now. And we're going to see about fitting in all of our topics tonight, but
it is already 9:13.
Yeah, this is something that really needs to be talked about.
Yes, it does. All right. Well, let's get to it. Am I reading? Oh, that's just a screenshot.
Mm-hmm.
We reading that first, or we going to it? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. A relationship guru had a great time at Art Basel. Problem was, it wasn't with his wife. I guess that's a problem. They'll always have Miami Beach. An Atlanta-based relationship expert is dealing with his own personal issues at present after being spotted enjoying Art Basel. Is it Basel or Basel?
No, you're right. It's Art Basel.
All right.
Yeah.
Art Basel was someone who was most definitely not his wife.
Denier.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so much denier going on. Derrick Jaxn announced he was getting a divorce after photos emerged of him enjoying Miami Beach's annual art fair earlier this month with a lady friend. Yeah, they look like friends. The motivational speaker, whose motto is, "I help people restore the broken relationship with themselves," told his 1.3 million followers over the weekend that his family was experiencing a new normal.
That's 1.3 million Instagram followers.
Is it Instagram? Good for him.
Yeah.
He deserves it. He probably earned it. He's friendly. The Alabama native apparently wrote the post to respond to those who have speculated about what is going on, a nice way of saying his alleged affair had gone viral. Damn, they got all the shit from this thing right in there.
That's his wife.
The A Cheating Man's Heart author implied that he and his longtime love had already split before his PDA-filled outing in Miami, which included a stop at Brickell City Center.
That's his wife.
God damn. You know what I'm saying? Might be a little heavy. I don't know. Anyway, earlier this year, after much prayer, he does lift weights, clearly. Them little ass shirts. Earlier this year, after much prayer, counseling, and deep consideration, we decided to go our separate ways and filed for divorce. Not so sure about the timing there, because just as recently as last month, Denial was railing on Twitter against trolls who said her marriage was rocky and accused her husband of not such moral behavior. Every person speaking against the names Denia Jaxn and Derrick Jaxn in mockery, accusations, slanders, and lies, may the mercies of God be withdrawn from you. May your husbands and wives become widows, she said. Let your children become fatherless. Jesus. Let your seed become vagabonds on the earth. Let the words of your mouth and the work of your hands be returned back to you. Let it go down your throat and choke you slowly until your days become few on the earth. After voraciously quoting the Bible, a la Will Smith, she cautioned followers to keep our names out your mouths. Have a blessed day. At least Jaxn is content now. The 33-year-old businessman wraps up his announcement by saying he has found peace in his decision, knowing that our mission of raising healthy children started with healthy and whole parents is still being accomplished. Don't go looking to Denia for answers or response. Her Insta account was set to private. This isn't the mother of two's first rodeo, however. The Sun reports she already filed for divorce once amid cheating rumors as far back as 2020, and we're sure we'll be hearing from her again, perhaps in court documents. The fate of the ex's husband-wife advice post, Heal Together, is unclear.
So they had a podcast called Heal Together. And basically, last year what happened, to catch you guys up, in regards to Derrick Jaxn. Derrick Jaxn got outed by Tasha K, who has a show on YouTube. And she was contacted by women who had affairs with Derrick Jaxn. If you don't know who Derrick Jaxn is, you know, basically he put out a lot of these videos of him sitting in the car talking about how black women are queens and that, you know, if you got a cheating boyfriend or husband, you need to leave him. He broke up a lot of marriages with that conversation. And people, you know, women literally left their man because this guy told them, you know, you deserve better. You know, black women are queens. Like, you know, don't get mad at it. You know, if your man is with you and he's got a problem with your weight, he don't need to be with you. You know, all these different things. And he's also basically really known for attacking Kevin Samuels because he had went at Kevin Samuels and accused Kevin Samuels of being gay. He said a lot of different things about Kevin Samuels. And Kevin Samuels had never said anything about
there was nothing to address. Fuck him.
But after he said that, he got in his ass. Yeah, oh, yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he got in his ass because he deserved to.
He definitely did.
He deserved to. And at that point, when you're looking at this guy playing out his life, and you know, because people always say, well, what does it matter? Right? They'll say, what does it matter? Well, black men in particular are very upset because for many years, this guy has attacked black men.
Correct. And made our lives harder in the dating world.
Mm-hmm.
More than likely.
Mm-hmm. Because of the things he said.
Or more likely than not, rather.
Yeah, because of the things he said.
Encouraging black women to stay out of shape, encouraging black women to be, what is a good word? Shit. Defiant.
Contentious.
Contentious.
Yeah. Defiant,
you know?
contentious.
Contemptuous.
Contemptuous, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Many different words we could throw at that, but he basically just told them not to be agreeable, not to be, you know, not to work with us.
Which is the exact contrast of what he's got going on in his life, because he would say that he wanted a woman who was, respectful and passive, and, you know, he wanted a down-to-earth woman who would be a good mother, godly.
Willing to follow his lead.
Yeah, you know, and then he ends up getting with, you know, Desdemona, you know.
Was that her name?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh,
you looking at her, you know, because he spoke out. You know, his thing to women, black women, was always be your natural self. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to wear the weave. You don't have to, you know, do all the makeup and stuff like that. You can be, you know, because when he got caught the first time, he had did a video with his wife and she had wore a bonnet, and she said her bonnet was the armor of God or something like that. The helmet of
Now you already know more about this shit than me.
It was very much entertaining. We thank Tasha K for bringing it out. That's actually Tasha K's.
Not a fan of her, but yeah.
So yeah, you know, she her and Derrick, you know, and she went after Derrick because Derrick went after her. You know what I'm saying? There was several different people that she'd been back and forth with. Derrick said some horrible stuff about it, so she's like, "Oh, word? Okay, so."
Well, see, that's the whole internet thing. It's just all these niggas is rich and arguing with each other, or maybe they're not rich, but they're well-to-do, and they're arguing for our attention online, and that's what gets them paid. So how much of it is real?
Don't know.
That's my own personal position on this, but go ahead.
Well, this is a question that I have. Why is it that black women, when this guy was exposed, I mean, he's got 1.3 million Instagram followers, and it never dropped. So after the first incident happened, you know, they followed him, and then they got back to following him. They never really left him. Why is it? This is the question. Why is it that black women like to be lied to? If that's a thing.
It's not black women, it's women in general, I believe.
Okay.
You know, we won't talk about my past, but the psychology is a powerful thing. And there are two different realities for women. The one that they don't want broken, and those are the ones who want to be lied to. And then there are the ones who actually do want the truth, but they want it sugar-coated in a sense. Which means what? They still kind of want to be lied to. They want there to be some sort of fairy tale. And is that a bad thing? I can't say, because I'm not a woman. I'll never be. But people want the reality that makes them happy.
So, and being that this show topic tonight is about black men, how does black men deal with that? Because I know that right now there's a movement of brothers, you know, they call it the red pill movement. Some women say it's as far as it being a hatred towards women, which isn't what it is. I just think it's just guys are just fed up.
So a lot of men are fed up with the reality of women, and I'm going to do a lot of quoting Patrice O'Neal here. He said that a majority of women, not even a majority, no, he said the existence of women is not righteous because their strengths are not in righteousness. Their strengths are in persuasiveness, right? Women are not built the same as men. They're not supposed to be brute. They're not supposed to go and strong-arm their way into things. They're supposed to charm their way into things. They're supposed to talk their way into things, and so forth. That's not a righteous existence. Because with persuasiveness comes what?
Deceitfulness.
Some sense of deceit, some sense of manipulation, and that's not a bad, understand. This is why I tell people they should be very definitive. Go and look up some of these words. Just because you're used to them being negative does not mean that is what they are.
Right, absolutely.
If these are your strengths, use them. There are plenty of animals and bugs with poisonous properties that is their existence. Those are their strengths. Why would they use anything else?
And those
I don't expect the rattlesnake not to hit me with the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and those poisons counteract other poisons.
Correct.
Sometimes,
So if that is a woman's existence, why would she not use those strengths? Right? All of that to say this. And I do believe that for the most part it is men's fault, but not in the way that you would most people would believe. Yeah. When I say it's men's fault for being angry at something or someone, some being, for being exactly what they are. Mm-hmm. It is a woman's existence to be a little bit chaotic. Mm-hmm. It is a woman's existence to be a little bit uncertain. Why? Because her counterpart is supposed to come in and offer those things to her, to balance those things out for her, offer her some sense of reassurance. Not reassurance, because you can't reassure anybody of anything.
That's right.
But you can offer them a sense of reassurance. Mm-hmm. I can offer you a sense of security. Mm-hmm. You know? That is a man's job. And when he's not doing it, what goes awry? Mm-hmm. The balance. Mm-hmm. Now it's completely off. Mm-hmm. You know? So can you get tired of something or someone, a being, acting as they should, being exactly what they are? To me, no.
So this is where it gets to that point that I was making previously, you know, using Derrick Jaxn as an example. Obviously, if he wasn't happy with his relationship, you know what I mean? Him and Denia got together at an early part of life. You know, she was there during high school. She was his high school sweetheart, pretty much. And they got married and they had kids, and she was going to divorce him once. But I think he did it mostly because of money. It wasn't so much, you know, because he has, one of the things that I think people don't understand is that the reason why I'm using Derrick Jaxn tonight for like with the tWitch going into this is because on the outside, everybody looked at tWitch and thought everything was cool. Married, kids, money,
right,
success. But like I had said previously, why feel like you have to go that route if that's not what you really want? So in essence, Denia is not the type of woman he was really attracted to, right? So he gets with Desdemona.
I mean, just because we've seen him with that, we don't know how she is in intimately.
Mm-hmm. Well, he mentioned it. He has mentioned it. He was saying that, you know, and even Denia was saying that with the content of what she saw, it kind of perplexed her because she felt like, you know, the women he would pick were different types of women with different types of things, right? So she felt like she couldn't be like those women. She was very, very transparent about it. Okay. To the point of, it's like, but she brought that back on herself rather than realizing this is the man that I married, where, you know, maybe he can't be monogamous. Maybe that's not something for him. But because he picked a career where he's pushing relationship issues because, you know, black women, their number one thing is that, you know, he's going to be a cheater. And, you know, when it comes to black men, and just talking about, like our show on monogamy, some men aren't built for monogamy. It's a choice. And so why did he choose, other than the fact of making money, why did he choose that path? Because in my mind...
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
This goes to the quote that I wanted to share from Bill Burr.
Okay.
Bill Burr is one of Patrice O'Neal's proteges, so to speak, and also one of his best friends. Mm-hmm. And one of his best jokes, he talks about one day he's gonna write a book, and the book's gonna be called "Women Are Absolutely Right," and the whole book is gonna be about, you know, fuck man, these niggas is cheating, XYZ. The cover's gonna be him in a sweater vest with the bow tie and all of this shit, right? And he's gonna wait exactly a year after women have their run on the internet of, you know, told you, a man is saying it, y'all niggas ain't shit, and whoop-de-whoop and all of this. And he said, and after they get him rich off of that book, because he knows it'll work, and he told this joke years ago. This is like 2010. He said, after that book works, he gets him rich and all of that shit, he's gonna come back with his second book. Now this is his follow-up. And the cover is going to be him on like a jet ski with like 3 bitches on the jet ski with him, and he's fucking the bitch on the jet ski on the fucking cover of the book. And the whole book is going to be like, got you bitches, I told you. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not, you allow your imagination and your emotions to drive you into all of this shit.
That's pretty much what Derrick Jaxn.
That's exactly what he did, and that was why I wanted to share that, because that's exactly what he did. Now he got money. Now he fucking bitches. What are they gonna do? Take the money from it?
Well, the thing that I guess for me is like, if they see that, why not just, because of the accountability. But, why continue to make this dude who's lied to you in some capacity? Why you continue to make? That's the question to you guys.
Why do black people waste so much money on fashion and trips and all of this kind of shit, making the rest of the world rich and not spending no money on ourselves or in our own community? Mm-hmm. By far and large, not all of us are that way, but a majority of us are that way, and that's why we don't have a community. So it's still the same thing. That's all I'm saying.
Any of y'all keeping up with the Derrick Jaxn situation? Any of you women out there willing to admit that the guy was a clown and you got beat?
That he was slick.
He
fucking won. And that might not have even been his plan up front, but he probably seen it, was like, wow, they're falling for this?
He was using God and everything, bro. Like the pastors.
Don't get me started on the church.
Right, of course.
Same fucking thing. No difference from, who is it? Who is the nigga? Goddamn.
Which one?
Atlanta.
Which one?
Or is it Detroit?
Oh my God, which one?
Man, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many of these raggedy ass pastors, man, that they had their way.
Yeah.
And they're only raggedy.
Jamal Bryant, that's what you're talking about. The one. Jamal Bryant.
I heard about him too, though.
Yeah, talking about bringing guys in. He wants to start growing weed to bring in.
Is it Fitzpatrick or?
Might be.
This motherfucker was huge for a minute, man. God, he got cornered. He still got his money though, but you know what I'm saying? They're supposed to do that. We're living in a capitalist society, and I'm using this just to kind of circle back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, where we lose the natural order of things because of humans as they apply to the new world, the modern world. We get so caught up in all of this silliness and bullshit that we're seeing on TV and on the internet. Kwame Kilpatrick or Fitzpatrick?
Kwame Fitzpatrick, I think
that was that fool's name. If anybody knows what his name is, I forget. I think he's from Detroit or something. That nigga was raggedy. But anyway, we get so caught up in all of these different things that have absolutely nothing to do with our primal nature. Nothing to do with our primal nature at all. We're apple seeds out here growing peaches right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's the absolute truth. From my perspective. That is what the absolute truth is. So, was he wrong? Sure. But were they wrong too?
Yeah,
because they shouldn't have been championing. They shouldn't have been wasting their time on the internet championing someone that they did not know personally, someone who is just like them on the internet behind a picture that no one knows if that picture is true, and behind an attitude and presentation of themselves that no one can either confirm or deny. That's your fault. Nobody else's fault. So sorry if your hearts are broken, but you fucking did it to yourself. And whatever he did to his family, you know what I'm saying? That nigga has to atone for that in his own personal life.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing any of us could say or do about it.
Absolutely. Agreed. Yeah. Well.
I hate to sometimes I'll be cutting shit down to the butter and
cut it to the quick.
Yeah, I like to go to the source of it all and let's get it as straight as possible. That probably could have been another 20 minutes of that conversation.
No, Derrick Jaxn doesn't deserve
bullshit.
that. He's just a talking point.
Yeah, so men and women of the world, if you out there basing your life on what it is that you're seeing on the internet, everything that comes to you is your fucking fault.
Absolutely. Got to be held accountable, guys. So, next up on the list.
You know what I'm saying, though? The growing weed church might get me back into the pews for real, though. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I think that's very smart. We should, we'll have to talk about that one of these days.
As we always say, man, the modern church is destroyed. It's not what it is.
Well, if they're teaching, if their focus is supposed to be teaching young black kids how to farm by teaching them to grow marijuana,
then it's not a church anymore. It's community service.
It's still a church.
No.
Legally, it's still a church.
No. I mean, you're right, by law, of course, but not in the spiritual aspect. Not at all. That's no different than them allowing twerking and people,
I disagree. The reason why is because so many of our people are in prison right now over marijuana charges.
And they should be out. They should have been out.
They should be out. But instead of just because now that it's legal in most states, instead of only letting white people get rich off of this shit. Why don't we teach these kids how to do this shit too?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a community service.
I completely agree with that. With whatever it is that they're going for there. Hopefully they don't. They're probably going to exploit the kids too. But
the thing that we're disagreeing about is the essence of the church and what the church stands for and what it means. It's all incorrect nowadays. It doesn't matter. If it's T.D. Jakes down, which is everyone's favorite pastor.
Him and Joel Osteen.
Yeah, it's like they're, to me, they are not the church. And
no one is supposed to be the church.
Right, the church is not so much the institution. So
the church is the fellowship that you have when you're sharing the word.
Mm-hmm. Two are in presence. God is there. So that's what I've learned, but not what they're doing today. That's not.
No, well, we talking about capitalism.
Yeah. So yeah, he should just go ahead and step down and close it and rename it. Call it Weed Birth or something.
Well, he needs the church. He needs the legal status of a church,
there you
so
go.
that him and his
it's business,
him and the children and anyone else participating don't end up with bullshit charges.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say I think it's very smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so we're talking about T.J. Holmes. If you've been up on anything with that.
Who is that?
T.J. Holmes, this brother right here. He was sleeping with her. They were both on the show together.
Who is she?
Amy Roebuck.
Is it okay? I mean, you know.
Yeah, she's his co-host.
So what is the show about?
The Good Morning Show. And basically, they had been. He actually, man, he'd been taking them down at the job for a hot minute. Different
with
chicks.
that bad haircut, huh?
But you know what? He got the Smokey Robinson thing going on, bro.
Lenny Kravitz or whatever. I get
White women like that. White women, you know, like I was.
My nigga, he ain't even got on socks with the running shoes.
Hey, but you know, I'm bringing him up for a reason. Like, you know, because is it smart for black men? People gonna do what they're gonna do, but for black men to engage in romantic relationships on the job, is that a smart thing for them to do? They're gonna do what they're gonna do, but is that a smart thing for them to do?
I'm gonna say no.
Mm-hmm.
Again, and it's unfortunate because we still keep the pressure on ourselves a bit, but because of how much burden that we all carry with this existence as a black man, black men do need to be careful publicly, in public spaces, careful not to make it that much harder on the rest of us, because we have a collective public image. You know, I'm never out acting no fucking fool and doing something that's gonna embarrass other black men. Or reinforce stereotypes.
Yeah, and I want to add to that because I think the problem becomes once these brothers, there's something that I call the King Solomon syndrome, where a lot of these brothers, they become successful, they get money, they get prestige, they get fame. And the other aspect of the King Solomon syndrome that I only talk about so much is that they start to feel like, well, my counterparts are white, I have the same rights as them. And I think that's a huge problem.
That's the good Negro argument.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
They think that because they're allowed to share the space with them, that now their importance or their appreciation is of the same caliber, and it's not. Because it's not your fucking infrastructure. You didn't build it. At some point, you're still answering to one of them, and that's our reality.
And the thing about it is with him, they ended up bringing in another brother that looks just like him, but gay.
Sounds about right.
So they replaced him, right? Dude, light skinned, the curly hair and everything, but they brought in a brother that's gay. And then the person that put both him and the other girl on hiatus was a black woman.
It was a white bitch?
No. Amy Roebuck.
Well, I'm not mad at it. They shouldn't have been fucking a white bitch, but that's, Yeah. That's just me.
So it says TJ Holmes and Amy Robach have reportedly been keeping their distance while ABC decides whether the two will return to host.
How do they know?
They were very obvious about it.
I'm saying, how do they know what they're doing?
Oh,
in
as
their
far as
private
keeping
time?
their distance? Well, nobody. I mean,
Come on,
you
man.
know. It said they wouldn't dare be caught together now, not while ABC is making a decision, an insider told the Daily Mail on Tuesday. Doesn't matter. Those jobs were given away. They're not getting them back. Their marriages are over, but they have children to think about, and they don't want to jeopardize their futures with the network any more than they already have. Page Six previously confirmed that the co-anchors would remain off GMA indefinitely after ABC News President Kim Goodwin emailed staffers to say they will maintain a rotation of anchors while they make their decision. It is my hope that we will continue to focus our energy on what we do best, and I want all of you to know how immensely proud I am of your hard work and professionalism, she wrote in the email
She didn't write
Page
that
6.
shit.
Yeah, of course not. The announcement came just hours after Page Six revealed that every anchor is upset that Amy and TJ have caused such drama.
every single anchor, they're all worried. I doubt that any
They
of them even
already
give a
knew
fuck.
what was
dude.
going on. Listen, when you're in a workplace environment like that,
It's the same as high school. It's the same as
Absolutely.
any other fucking environment. dude.
absolutely.
They don't none of them give a fuck about, because all of them are probably doing the exact same shit. They just ain't been ousted for it yet.
Workplace romance, right? No one wants to be associated with this, one insider bluntly put it. ABC initially kept Holmes 45 and Robach 49 on the air, but that changed after they joked about their great week following their secret affair being exposed last month.
That's funny.
It was TMZ that exposed them.
That's actually funny.
Yeah, right?
That they joked about it on air.
The decision is to not address it, then don't address it. TJ made light of it on air. Amy's smarter than that, but how else is she supposed to respond? One insider spilled. See, he got to that point.
They just blamed it on him? Or?
Yeah, but he did get to that point where he felt like he was untouchable. And it's like, you know, as a black man, you can never, ever get that comfortable. A source told Page Six that things turned romantic between Robach and Holmes, who are still married to other people while they are training together for the New York City Half Marathon in March. They reportedly waited to leave their spouses until August. And although Robach's divorce from Andrew Shue is nearly finalized, a source told us that Holmes' wife, Marley Fleabig, was blindsided by the news, despite being separated for months. Robach and Shue, 55, have been married since 2010. She shares two teenage daughters, Ava and Annie, with her ex-husband, Tim McIntosh. While she and you know what? She cheated on that husband to be with this new husband that she's with.
Well, that's who she is.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm
Same thing with TJ.
That's who they are. Shit. Look, man, listen, man. Because this is the end of the article, basically. I mean, you can finish it. I'll speak after.
Okay, Robach and Shue, 55, have been married since 2010. She shares two teenage daughters, Ava and Annie, with her ex-husband, Tim McIntosh, while Shue has three sons with ex-wife Jennifer Hagney.
White woman name, whatever.
Coincidentally, Holmes and Fleabig also tied the knot in 2010. And the two co-parent daughter, Sabine.
Who the fuck is making up these last names, dog? You know what I'm saying?
Holmes and his ex-wife, Amy Ferson, also share daughter. Man, this is a lot.
Hagney, Fleabig, Ferson.
Daughter Brianna and son Jaden. There's a lot of names involved. These people be getting it in. This is the thing.
Go ahead, man.
This is the thing. Black men, three things that you got to be mindful of, okay? Number one, protect your seed.
I got my nigga Little Richard up there. You know what I'm saying?
Protect Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie, whatever.
He had his drama too.
Yeah, they all, you know.
Protect your seed.
I agree with that.
Have integrity.
It means something.
And build. And when you build, the number one thing you have to remember about building is you have to protect what you build. That's what cats lose sight of. You know, every king was always protecting their borders because of what they were doing to build the kingdom. And a lot of these people out here talking about, I'm a king, I'm this and that. Well, then what you're building, you need to protect. You can't get to a certain position in your life and just feel like, all right, I could be 14 again.
Much like independence comes with a huge responsibility, kingship, queenship, leadership, all come with huge and demanding charges. You are charged with so much if those are the realities and the positions that you're claiming.
You don't have the liberties that you would normally have if you're just a drone.
Correct.
You know, drones, and when it comes to the bee world, drones go out to collect and bring back, and sometimes
they doing the busy work.
Yeah, and sometimes they get distracted, or they get separated from the hive, and they look for or the colony, and they look for a way to get back. That's a distraction, and I think sometimes these people get to this position of thinking, oh, well, I'm on the white status, and now I can do I can do what they do. You know, President Clinton got his knob slobbed in the White House behind the desk. I can do that too. It's like, no, you black. You don't have that liberty.
Can't,
you don't have that liberty. You know what I mean?
My nigga Obama couldn't buy beef jerky. You know what I'm saying? I don't think any of that shit is real, but that's a whole nother argument. But that nigga couldn't even buy beef jerky without the press being like, you see this nigga indulging? You know? Like he did anything close to it. It's wild for Clinton to have did what he did.
Yeah.
No, we'll never be equal. Not under their social umbrella. Ever. Quit thinking that you can.
Right.
I was in the FBI, nigga, and I didn't make no friends. I was just like this. When are they gonna get me? And eventually they did. And I moved on to another job. Plain and simple. We are never equal. We're never going to be equal.
And I think once people recognize that, they can empower themselves to figure out the right steps rather than just going through this mess that he's going through. Yeah. You know, and it sounds like they got a lot of kids, so they got a lot of. There's a lot of people involved in general. They got bills to pay for a little fling on a gig, man. All these people out here. TJ Holmes, you know, I mean, he's not an ugly dude, man, and you know
that's a pretty bad haircut. I'm just saying.
Some people like that.
And again, he got them running shoes on with no socks.
You know, he's an Ivy Leaguer. Some Ivy League dudes are like that.
I guess.
So, you know, and she had just beat cancer. So not only that, I think she had a double mastectomy.
So
you know, so you
know, she's human going through human shit.
But we have to mention the stuff that white people go. But you know, you have to understand. You know, got to mention that sometimes.
Yeah, but really, you don't have to understand any of it because every single one of them is getting paid off of this stupid shit, and none of us are.
That's true indeed. So then it would bring up the topic of why do we do pop culture?
That nigga might get a
Something
book
to talk about.
Well, yeah, no, of course. You know, I'm not trying to be an asshole about it, but you know, this bitch ass nigga, he cheated. He gonna get a book. Are you gonna get a book?
No, not happening.
You know what I'm saying? Because you had an argument with a family member. That's all I'm saying. These niggas gonna get books and they gonna feature on daytime television shows talking about all of this dumb shit. And behind the scenes, they're probably just like, I think Derrick Jaxn and his chick, they're probably not even really going through that bullshit. Them and their kids are probably at the crib right now, nigga, with some kind of wicked ass setup that none of us can afford.
Right.
Enjoying movie night on a Thursday. That's all I'm saying. We don't have any of the same. No, I always say we can't compare our realities to theirs because we're not even close to living in the same space.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But I think that's kind of what makes this interesting. It's all entertainment. You know what I mean? And people love to say that these people are worse off than them, even when they got money.
Yeah, that's why he wasn't wearing socks.
You didn't have to, right?
Not with them running shoes.
Yeah. So we're ending off the show with something that I don't think Antonio and I discussed, but I had said it would be in the back pocket because I saw it today, man. I saw this today, bro. And I was just like, come on, man. Now,
that's assault.
Yeah, did you see this already? No? Not yet? Okay.
I hadn't heard of it.
So we're not going to show the video, especially not on YouTube, because we get strikes sometimes.
We get copyright strikes for a lot. And then, you know, my language is a little flippant. That don't help.
Well, with this type of stuff, they catch us on quote unquote violence, and it's like there's 50 other different channels that has these clips, and they don't get.
But they got
strikes.
burner pages, nigga. We got.
We
can't afford to have a burner page. We trying to
Well,
get trying to get our followers.
Y'all
up.
got to help us with the burner page.
Yeah.
Somebody said that they were going to do a pledge run tonight. I guess it didn't happen.
That nigga probably sleep.
He probably knocked out, enjoying the cigarettes. But anyway.
But Tuesday's coming. Whatever.
I'm gonna show him this video. And we're gonna talk
seconds,
about it.
So don't feel left out.
Right, and I want to get his opinion because this might be the first time we're split on an opinion. So here we go. All right.
This nigga missed.
So basically, what we're watching, if you hadn't heard in the news, it was a firefighter. He was a top level firefighter, and he was coming in to help his team in regards to a guy who was on drugs.
Yeah.
Okay, and the guy was on drugs. He was handcuffed, and basically he spat at the first responder, and the first responder was a black guy, lost his goddamn mind and just started swinging and punching the guy. I mean, he punched him. It took the whole team of about how many people?
Yeah, there's a few motherfuckers in there. Four.
Yeah.
Three.
Yeah, it's 3.
Did any more join in after this scene?
It looked like
three
it,
or four. Yeah, about
like,
3 or 4.
Yeah.
5?
Yes.
5 people.
They all,
that's a big nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, feels like
about
5 or 6 people.
Yeah, 6 people, yeah. So they had to keep this guy from literally destroying this dude who was handcuffed to a gurney.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Because this is the thing. The reason why I'm asking you this, because it says wild video shows firefighters socking. That's a word that I use. That's an old school Brooklyn word. Chime in, Scott.
Word?
Yeah.
That's West Coast, baby.
Yeah, but it's
we could do the etymology.
But okay, because you might lose because the first time you'll see the appearance of socking.
They've been stealing from the West Coast.
I don't know now.
James
Cagney was the first man that I ever saw say the word sock on film. Now I'm pretty sure
New York copying Northern California right now.
I'm pretty sure.
Right now.
They copy from each other.
We don't copy from New York.
Well, listen. Okay. The drive-by, y'all patented, but it started in New York.
It didn't start in New York. They don't even drive cars in New York.
The mafia.
Taxis drive in New York,
The mafia was the original drive-by shooters.
And where was the mafia originally?
Brooklyn.
Chicago.
Okay, I'll give you that. So then we have to say, is the Chicago Midwest, East Coast, or West Coast?
That's Midwest.
Okay, so they both stole from Chicago.
No, I don't think so.
Let's get back to subject. I told you there's going to be one thing we would disagree with. All
right, go ahead.
Wild video shows firefighters socking, I love that word, socking handcuffed hospital patient who spat on him.
So here's my question.
Yes, sir.
When he spit on him, where did the spit land?
It didn't even land on him.
Yeah, he shouldn't have hit him.
Right. Because the thing is dude's he's not apologizing. He said, I don't apologize. You know how we get to a point where we said, fuck it, fuck you, we're not going to apologize?
I understand the disrespect is disrespecting, but it does need to be based in something.
Yeah, and then look, this is his job. He should be used to knowing that guys who are under the influence, this dude is clearly under the influence.
Nah, they're all, ain't no telling what kind of day this nigga done had or what kind of week he done had or ain't no telling how they treat him.
It's funny that you're saying that because this is why I'm bringing this up to you. So this guy has a history, the black guy, where at his job, somebody had put nooses on pictures of his whole family at his office.
Okay.
So this is a buildup. Now, I understand the anger.
He should have took it out on the motherfucking, the whole administration. And I don't mean physically, but I mean,
right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, apparently he's been fighting this for a minute.
Yeah.
So, look at the verbiage. The gurney skidded across the hospital floor.
So what was the end result? I'm sure this nigga got fired.
No, he got When this incident occurred, the individual was immediately relieved of duty. He's not fired. Our department is conducting an administrative investigation while this individual remains in a relieved of duty status. So he's not fired.
All right, he's not fired.
Okay. Now, the problem became this. This was the issue. This guy did a news conference and said, I have no regrets. And then he said, that's how you do it to teach someone to never ever spit at someone again. Now, the problem,
that's pretty emotional.
Yeah, I had a problem with that because I was just like, first off, the dude is handcuffed. The spit didn't land on you, and then second off,
and even if it didn't land on his face, I don't think it.
Yeah, it didn't land. It didn't land anywhere on his body.
Yeah,
it didn't land. He just got upset that the dude would even spit at him.
Yeah.
That type of job, when you're working in this type of job,
you gotta have a little more patience.
A lot more patience, because people come in all the time like that, unruly, and they high or they.
So this is what I would ask. Where was all of that energy when these niggas put news pictures on his family?
That's my point. That's
all I would ask. Where was all of that energy when they put nooses on your family's pictures?
That's my point.
Why are you still even working there if you have that much integrity?
Yeah, agreed.
I burned a lot of bridges in the IT world
just from your integrity,
because they tried to hit me with some bullshit, and I was like, well, fuck y'all. Y'all think, nigga, you think this is the only place I'll ever be able to work? You think that I have to grovel to you guys and bend a knee and any of that? No, I'm out. Thanks for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, this guy...
And I stole from the snack room. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
This guy was handcuffed, both arms to the gurney. He couldn't fight back at all. This dude got the Bojuka trap, and look at the punch. It's cocked back.
Yeah, and he missed like a motherfucker, boy.
The first one especially.
Yeah, that first one was bad. He missed real bad.
I just think he needs to be fired. I think, listen, if you're in this type of job as a black man specifically, because that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about pressures
he's a fire chief, right?
Yes, he is.
He should be somewhere inspiring a young black man or young black woman. That's what he should have been focused on.
Yep. Especially
he should have been on his shit and been writing a book. These bitch ass niggas put news pictures on my shit. He could have created, a lot of motion behind that. And for whatever reason, as far as I know, just based on this, I don't know him, I don't know his history or none of that. But I heard about this and I didn't hear about that. What was done about the whole news thing? I'd like to dig into that.
It's still in litigation.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like 2 years later, they're still working on figuring it out. So,
a little bit of both, but he should have better control over himself because that is our public image.
And that was my point.
You'll never find out that I was at the grocery store and stomp somebody out, nigga, because they cut me in line or whatever it is.
Especially brothers like ourselves, man, because what we are capable of doing.
I ain't certified on paper.
Neither am
I. But I felt like that was a trap when I first got into everything. But anyway,
gotta get the song ready.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this is it, man.
This is it. Damn, we almost went over. It's never enough time, man. Especially when we having a good one. It's never enough time.
Well, listen, we could talk about being black men forever because that's who we are. We ain't escaping that.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's sad to see people do lightening creams and pigment augmentation and all that stuff. But that's another topic that we'll talk about one day. Black men, enjoy your melanin. Enjoy who you are despite all of the adversities against you.
You feel me?
If you're dealing with depression, seek therapy for sure. 2 therapists. I have a friend, he has 3 that he does. 3 therapists.
If that's what you need. There is no right way to fix something that ain't nobody figured out yet.
Yeah. And just know that, today might have been a shitty day. Tomorrow may be a shittier day, but eventually all the shit is cleaned up and you have some days without any shit. That's what I've learned. So you just got to keep pressing forward. Fight the good fight. It's something that I always share with my manager. I said, keep the faith. And that basically means to keep the faith. The faith is you believe that things will be better, then eventually they will. You just got to keep going. So, shout out to anybody who has lost anybody this week. Shout out to anybody who is dealing with any type of sadness.
Yeah.
You're not alone. The holiday season is a real bad season. Take advantage of our program. Go to our link tree.
Send us some money.
Yeah, send us some change so we can keep this place moving the way it needs to be moving. Well oiled. Beautiful. And we want to be able to get something on the top here. CMCT show.
Neon light. Shit,
so,
some kind of poster.
You know, we don't celebrate Christmas, but if you're in the Christmas spirit,
you're in the Christmas, you know what I'm saying?
show us some love.
Yeah, Christmas spirit is everything.
Otherwise,
especially, you know, if it's directed here.
Yeah.
You feel me? So, we got some love in the comments, man. You just said it.
Thank you.
We black women love black men.
And we black men definitely
and anyone who
love
disagrees can go on.
Yeah. We love you back. Believe me. You know, we're not misandrists and we're not misogynists. We're just very honest.
Very honest. And I call bullshit on both sides of the fence. Mm-hmm. You know, let's break down that fence. Everybody come back together so we can get our fucking community right.
Got it.
Always. So, it's 10 o'clock. Y'all niggas have a good night.
Have a great weekend.
Or a great weekend. All of that.
Bye-bye. You got that down to a T now.
Muscles on this lonely pack. I say common fact. I've been on the grind so long, hoes can never call me that. Please keep it short. I don't speak for all the rap. I'm your mechanic. I don't want no parts of whack. Keep throwing darts and wax. I'ma melt you. Every beat got a birthday. I just make it special. If you can't impress it, maybe we can do that.
You knew I was gonna say that.
Show you where your shoes at. Exactly where the proof at. I ain't gotta prove stats. I don't need the hookup. I've been staying blue black. Straight from where the news at. Life size showdown. Story I survived. Made them